Hey everybody, it's Joel Woodard here with you again for another painting log video. I'm feeling pretty good. I hope everybody is feeling good as well. We're into spring now. I think the first day of spring was just this past Saturday or Sunday. Can't remember which, but anyway, I know we're all busy with stuff, so I appreciate you taking a look at this. Before I get going, just to recap a little bit on the painting I did last time, I decided to paint over that yellow blob necklace, for lack of a better description. I painted over that with some muted color, yellowish color, and I added a little more variety with that. There's a little bit of that yellow on top of it, some of the muted violet color on top of it, and I'm a lot happier with it. It has a lot more variety now. As much as I like that yellow, it is overpowering. That basically just gives it more variety, and variety is good. And that leads me to the other thing I wanted to talk a little bit about tonight. I have an artist friend. His name is Jacques Garnier, and I've known him for a long time. I was talking with him today at Laguna Art Museum. He has a show there, by the way. It's really great. You all should go see it. And full disclosure, I work at the Laguna Art Museum myself, so just putting that out there. He was asking me about the color choices for my work. Speaking with these works, for example, when I was in the collage phase of it, I started with that Mars yellow color that I've been talking about while working with these. When you start with one color like that, I like to think of it as the unpacking of color. So you start with a yellow, then what I think about is its opposite. So I'm thinking about complements. Yellow, naturally, violet is going to come into the mix at some point. And when you start with a color like yellow, which is a primary color, you also think about what that color can do. What other colors does yellow make? Now, I haven't really gone quite there with these works. There's yellow and green, and there's yellow and orange. Then you start to think, well, what can those colors do? How does that serve the piece you're working on? With these, it's just primarily working with the complements. That's what I kept it to. And when you work with complements, I always like to explore the spectrum of muted colors in between those two colors. You mix any two complements together and you're going to get a muddy type of gray color. And there's variations of all of those muted grays in between. So it becomes a matter of degree. Do I want a muted color that's warmer or cooler, a little more yellow, a little more violet? Those are the types of questions that I start to ask myself when I'm working on work like this. And the reason I also had this burnt umber in the mix is because when you mix burnt umber and blue together, that will give you a type of black color. And what I've liked to do for the longest time is make my blacks more violet. So I'll add dioxazine purple to my burnt umber and use that black. So naturally that aided in the decision to use the yellow. Actually, I wanted to use the yellow first, so then that type of black naturally was the choice of black that makes the most sense. If I was using another primary, red or blue, I would maybe play around with that black. Because when you put one saturated color with another color next to it that has part of its complement in it, that saturated color is going to come out even more. A good example of that is when you're walking down the street and you're looking at the sidewalk, you're looking at concrete. Maybe put a saturated color next to it and see what that does to the concrete. More often than not, you'll probably start to see the complement of that saturated color being absorbed into the gray of that concrete. Another great example is when here at the housing complex that I live in, at night I walk past our swimming pool and the light is on and it's casting out this really gorgeous saturated blue, and the concrete around it is starting to take on an orange type of cast, a type of tint. That saturation right there is affecting the colors around it, and this is pretty much what Josef Albers is talking about when he talks about color relativity, which he really, that blew my mind. If you're not familiar with Josef Albers, look him up. I'll look for a good video on him and post it to the description of this video. But he talks all about this kind of stuff, how one color influences another. If one color is more saturated, the other color next to it is going to be affected and take on the complementary characteristics of the saturated color. That kind of stuff, that kind of unpacking of color is a major component in the way I work. And I really got into Josef Albers in grad school. The color theory class I took while I was there, we talked a lot about him, and it just blew my mind. It really blew my mind. I got to thank Marie Thibeault as well. She was the color theory instructor there, and she was also the chair of my committee when I was there at Cal State Long Beach. So thank you, Marie. This is all great stuff. Okay, so I'm going to get into this now. Speaking of color, what I decided to do tonight was add straight dioxazine purple into the mix. I put some of that on my palette, mixed some white into it. I have a couple of tints going on here. I wanted to see what would happen when I use that straight and not have it be part of the black, as I was talking about earlier. And I've got some drawings I was doing last night and a little bit earlier that are going to help me with this tonight. I also have a couple of those gouache drawings that I did the other few nights ago. I don't know when it was, but a couple of the better ones, and I think those are going to help me with this and probably with the other two works that I have yet to finish for this series. It's coming up now. I'm at the point now where I want to do something a little different within the limitations that I've got. So again, what more can color do? Yes, I got that yellow. Let's talk about its opposite, the violet. How can I unpack the violet and make this better and make it really good? So, all right, I'm getting into it. Talk to you in a bit. Okay, so before I tell you what I've got here right now, I just realized I screwed up and I didn't film a shot of the work before I started painting. Oops. Usually I do that, but I really just wanted to get into it right now, and oh well. So what I got going right now is some of this violet color that I mentioned. I'm wanted to paint these kind of this oblong kind of maybe a bubble or something. You can think of it as a bubble, and there's another like bubble within that. I'm painting this shape on top of it, which is going to be a semi-mechanical type shape. And the color for that is some of the leftover muted yellow that I had. I'm probably going to mix some more of that because I'm kind of low on it. I'm really curious to see what it looks like on top of that violet. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to add some kind of like head shape on top of that. Once that's there, the composition's going to be pretty filled, so I'm not sure what else I'll be able to do. We'll have to see how it turns out. I pretty much covered up the collage part that was here. It's unfortunate. I liked how those were stacking on top of each other. I thought it would be more of a component to the whole, but as it happens, it looks like it's just getting painted over. And yeah, that's too bad. I still have that drawing in my sketchbook. It's always reason to do more paintings, so nothing lost. Okay, getting back into it. Okay, so I made that muted color down here on this shape a little more solid. I'm thinking it's a little too dark. It needs to be a bit lighter. Lighter, not warmer. I went ahead and added this shape up here, and I can tell you right now it's not going to stay that color. I wanted to just put something down to act as a framework, but that color isn't too far off the mark. It's close. It's a muted thing going on, and yeah, that's what I wanted. I also added this black color here, and that serves to be something that's under this shape here. I'm not quite sure what's going on with that yet, except that I'm feeling that this needs more dark somewhere in it. So that's why I did that. So I'm going to keep going now. I'm going to dial in that top shape more and see how that's going to affect everything else down here. Okay, so what I got now is I made that shape up here more solid, and I decided to drag these purple stripes through it in an attempt to make the shape more complex. I'm thinking I'm probably gonna paint that out, not because I don't like it, but because I need to make it even more complex. So I'm thinking some brushy, blendy stuff going on in that shape would be a good solution. I also added these dark blobs here going up and down. That serves two purposes. One, I needed more dark in this, as I was saying earlier. I still feel like I need some more dark somewhere. Maybe something here, maybe something there. I'm not quite sure yet. And two, it serves to be some sort of connective type of tissue between this shape and that shape to unify this whole thing. Just make it more of a united kind of thing. I don't know. So I also made this dark shape here a bit longer. I wasn't planning on having that be the front of this thing. As I said in my past video, I think of these in profiles similar to Egyptian drawing, Egyptian art. So this would be like the front, the face. And I was thinking this would be the face, the front, but I think I like it a little more this way. So I made that elongated rectangle a little more prominent. Okay, I think I know what to do. I'm gonna get back into it. Okay, so what I've done is painted over those purple stripes that were right here. I added some more of that lightly muted yellow, and it's kind of coming in this way, and the purple is this way, and they're kind of just this merging in the middle. There's a lot of brushstroke mixture stuff going on in that. I like that. I like that it's doing that right now. It's really, really wet, so I need to let that dry, and I'm going to do some more of those stripes over it, drag some more of it when it's dry. And I added a few of these orb shapes down here, connected to this main shape here. I did that because I think it just needed some more dark down there. I did mention earlier that I was looking to put some more of that dark violety black color into this. That seemed like a good place to put it. I think I'm going to be finishing this tomorrow night. I don't think I have too much more to do, and it is a bit late. Getting a little tired. So I think I'm going to do a couple more things and then call it a night. I'll paint a little more, talk a little more about it, and then that'll do it. So, okay. Okay, so what I've done is add this magenta type color here over this main shape, and I also added more of these dark shapes here. I wanted to break up this space a little bit more because this space, this shape here, was starting to look like a bow tie to me, and it still does, and that's not jiving with me very well. There's probably going to be more that I'll do to that next time. Speaking of more things to do, the this bubble type shape that's now kind of buried under this stuff here, I'm going to do more to that. I want it to have more of a presence with this piece, and now it's just looking like it's getting buried too much. It needs more of a presence. That's basically all I can say about that. So I'm going to call it a night and work more on this hopefully tomorrow night. It's not good to let too much time pass if you're working on one piece. You know, you never want to lose touch with it, lose connection with it. So thanks for watching this. Hit like if you like it, and subscribe, even better, if you like what you're seeing. I'd appreciate that very much. And please, if you have any questions or comments, please leave those in the comment section. I will answer them and hopefully get some good conversation going. Okay? Thanks so much. Have a great night.